TAG 49s.
Good day, everybody. We're going to do story time part two. I just kind of want to let everybody know about my childhood as far as, uh, I would say, my female attention, per se. Uh, of course, my mom went to prison when I was 6. Right before, I remember going to Myrtle Beach and I was hanging out with a friend of hers daughter. And to me, I would say that was my first real crush. And then, of course, with my mom going away, I ended up not seeing her again. And then, of course, when I switched schools after moving with my dad, me and my neighbor, I don't know, we had that really close friendship that could have went into something else, and then she moved away. Um, for me, the part that bugged me was I remember telling my stepmom that I wanted to go to her going away party so I could get her phone number and ways to contact her. And instead, it was just ignored, and I had, you know. So for me, every chance that I've had to maybe have, you know, experience or whatnot, it's always been railroaded, and then it's always been put on me as it was my fault. Um, I always spoke up and said what I wanted, but if you speak up and no one cares, what? So, with, me not being able to go see um, my grandparents or my mom when I was younger, um, a lot of it, my depression took over and killed what you would say is my courage or, um, anything. But, I never had a problem approaching girls until I would say late middle school, maybe high school. Um, because it got to a point where I always approached, I always had the courage, and I always got rejected. And of course, I would say it was early middle school, late elementary school was whenever I started getting picked on for my weight and everything. Um, so it's kind of like anytime I would go talk to a girl, there would be a boy or something that would just straight tear me down and be like, "Why would she talk to you? You're fat," or any kind of whatnot. So you hear that enough, and it starts to sink in, and I don't know. It just I remember I had a couple small girlfriends in like maybe middle school or whatnot, and then it was like high school. It became more of a distant, and I don't know. It wasn't until I would say 25 that I actually got into the whole online thing. Now, for me, I've never had a real relationship ever. I never had a full girlfriend that wasn't fake. Um, and when I say it like that, it sounds horrible, but I've had two online relationships that I would consider real. Um, and both of them, due to my insecurities of wanting more and having zero patience for it, I pushed them both away. And it wasn't until recently when I pushed my second one away that I realized that I had been doing it, you know, all along, because my first one, I did it not knowing I was doing it, and it just never registered. And after that, it was like I ended up having just bad, 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 bad. Now, when I say bad, it's like all I got was fake love, and I was used. You know, every relationship I've been in, other than the two, has used me some type of way, and it's kind of like those two are my biggest regrets, because I was so traumatized from being used, cheated on, and being in a fake relationship. And when I say fake, it's one of those things like I was only there for either money or whatever. And you know, it's like the one, it was, I was always labeled the sugar daddy because that's how she got away with coming to see me. Whereas when she got here, it was, I love you, da 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 da. And her reasonings or fakeness was she would use her kid as an example. And it really messed my head up, because I knew it was fake and I knew she was using me. But the type of person I am with my heart, I always hoped it was better. And then after that, it was just everybody that knew about it did the same thing that she did because she got away with it. Now, the thing is when that person used me, took all my money and all that, and I found out, like, I kind of knew, and people had told me along the way, but I always looked for the evidence. And she was really good at hiding the evidence or coming up with a story on, you know, and it was kind of like if I found something out from somebody else and I questioned her about it, she then attacked that person either mentally or verbally, you know, some type of way. Like I remember one of the people who had told me had an apartment, and I don't know for a fact, but that person's apartment got broken into and a lot of shit stolen. And to me, I feel it was she told somebody about that apartment and what they did, and those people then went and robbed. Now, I feel bad because that person ended up losing their pet and a lot of stuff, and probably made them go into super depression. And I really didn't talk to her since. And I feel bad because it's one of those things like she was really nice and whatnot, and I should have stuck with her and hung out with her more than the person that was using me. And I feel bad for it, but at the same time, everything happens for a reason, and I can't change the past nor go back and wish it was different. Everything happens in life for a reason. Everything has to play out for a reason, and I can't regret anything that's in the past because it's made me what I am. But you know, going forward from that, you know, it was like every person that I knew after that, it was just use me, use me, use me. And it was either I was just a toy or a fake boyfriend. And it just became one of those things that they were all into drugs. And for me, I started doing pain pills and cocaine and, you know, other drugs, because for me, it wasn't like I was trying to escape like they were. I was just trying to fit in and hang out and have fun. And for me, their drugs didn't affect me the same way as it did them. How it affected me is it numbed and muted my imagination. It took away my drive. When that person messed with my head and did everything that they did, I kind of told myself, everybody wants me for my money and everybody wants me for this or that. So I killed my business in the process of telling myself I wanted to be broke and hit rock bottom so that I could experience everything that everybody around me was experiencing. Because in my head was, I want somebody to fall in love with me for me. I don't want them to fall in love with me for my money. I don't want them to fall in love with me for what I can do for them. I want somebody to fall in love with me for me. And everybody that tried to use me after that, there wasn't nothing to use me for because I killed myself. I did it intentionally, and they all kind of looked at me different. So yeah, I was oh, let's go hang out with him because he did this for so and so. He's got to do it for me because he did it for them. And what they failed to realize was that person broke me mentally. And I was looking for something, I was looking for real love before I fixed myself. Because I wanted somebody to fall in love with the broken me. Because if they fall in love with me as I'm broken and no money, then I know if I did what I did the first time, I can do it again. And in the process, I really destroyed my business, and it got to a point where once I started to want to fix myself, I had done so much damage that it's really hard to come back from. And I want to apologize to everybody that used to support my business because I let you down in the process of wanting to find love or wanting to find somebody that loves me for me. And I feel bad about that. It was 2013 or 2012, is when I lost my mom. And that's when I met that one person, and I pretty much finally got rid of them. I want to say early 2014 maybe. And then, yeah. And then it was kind of around 2016 is when I got, kind of back on my feet. But then I started, selling drugs to make up for the money that I was missing out on because I had killed my business. And I don't know, it's one of those things like I never made money. I always broke even. And if anybody knows about breaking even when you're scratching lottery tickets, what breaking even means is God's telling you that this isn't for you, here's your money back. And I didn't listen. It took a while to listen. But then it was one of those things like, I stopped selling it because, like I said, I wasn't making money, and some of the people I was around were using it more than selling it. So it was kind of like I felt like I was losing more money in the process, and I finally decided to back away. And at the time I was on Vyvanse, and I had kind of tried meth. To me, is like I said, it wasn't like I was doing it to escape. I was more just doing it because it helped my ADHD a little bit. And one of the nights that I got really, really high, and I went to go lay in my bed, and as I was crawling in bed, I heard a noise, and I leaned up, and when I did, it felt like something smacked me on the back of the head really hard. And I just knew it. I said, I'm sorry, Mom. And that was probably one of the last times that I really got high. And there was one person that I was selling it to, and I feel like I kind of ruined his life because he had gotten clean and he had moved away. And when I told him I had it, I didn't know that was his problem. And he started buying from me, and then he went downhill. And when he went downhill, I stopped selling to him, and by then it was too late. And because he was pretty much my only customer, I stopped buying it and selling it. And I went to California. And to me, this was kind of like when I really, really started, smoking weed. And for me, I stopped drinking alcohol. I stopped doing coke. I stopped doing everything. Weed kind of helped me and fixed me. It helped me get off of all the bad things. And I went a long time just being by myself because I was tired of all the fakeness. And I was happy by myself because I was just tired. I was tired of all the bullshit. And then, late 2019, I started playing a mobile game. I started playing Last Shelter Survival, and I was in a what you would call a Brazilian group, and it was around February of 2020, right before COVID hit, and I don't know, I've always liked helping people, and I've always enjoyed, doing things for other people, and she kind of noticed it, and it attracted her to me, and I was so broken from all my past traumas of being used, cheated on, you name it. And so it was kind of like March 2020, we started talking, and she's not, she's kind of trapped at the moment too, but in the process of everything, she loved me as a broken me. It was kind of like, I was the ugly the ugly frog prince, and she was my princess. And she fell in love with the broken me, and it was kind of like the switch clicked. And in the process, I wanted myself to be the best person that she deserved. I felt like she deserved me at my greatest, not me broken. And that was kind of like one of those things. That was my motivation. I've always said I did it for her, because of her. But at the same time, I did it because of me, because I wanted it. But she was my motivation. She was, anytime I had a bad day, it was just like, I got to do this. I have to be the best me because that's what she deserves. And, that's when that's whenever I found Dr. Ian Smith's video, and I started losing the weight and building my self-confidence back up, learning self-discipline, and but the problem was I still had all those traumas from all those bad relationships. And I don't know, it's one of those things that I always thought she was cheating on me, or she was possibly going to use me, because that's what everybody did to me. And I pushed a lot of my insecurities off onto her in the process of she was probably just as broken as I was. And while I was healing and growing, she was still back here, and I didn't bring her with me. And I got frustrated with her starting to get distant, and I didn't understand why. But somewhere in the process, by the time I figured it out, I wanted to help her, and I tried to help her. And sometimes you don't know how to word things. And I tried to push helping her, and you can't help somebody by force. You have to help them when they want the help, or, and I pushed her away. I don't know how to fix it. I can only hope that it's in God's hands and it will fix itself. But all I know is during my healing, I have to be a man. And somewhere in the last 2 years, I've matured and I've figured it out. But there was a couple times where, during frustration of her being distant, or frustration from someone that hit one of my triggers, and I said things to people and she witnessed, or I said them to her, and it wasn't like I meant them. It was just I was so frustrated that things weren't going right, and then somewhere along the way, I did more damage than I wanted to, and I can't say it's anybody's fault but mine, because I shouldn't have, but I did, and I have to own up to it. And if that means that I'm going to be single for the rest of my life and alone, then so be it, because no matter what, I can't look at nobody else, because all I think about is her. And she fixed me because she fell in love with the broken me. I can never look at anybody the same, because all they're going to look at is the fixed me. And nobody deserves the fixed me but her. And the worst part about it is when she stopped talking to me a month and a half ago, I felt like I was back to January 2020, broken me again. And broken me didn't know what to do. But I prayed a lot, and the answers that I got were, you need to help people that are broken, so that, so it's kind of like, that's kind of, it's just like my first video. I recorded it back in March, when I was still messed up in the head, before I realized everything. It took me getting my passport and looking at my picture and seeing how much I had changed to realize how much I had changed, both mentally, physically, and everything. And at that point, I was trying to fix something that I'd messed up months before that, and I didn't know I did. And it was kind of like I wanted to move forward, and I wanted to go see her in Brazil, and I had already done the damage, and no matter what I said or did, it was too late. I had done too much damage, and now I'm just by myself. But I can't let me being by myself ruin my life again. So my goal is to help as many people as I can. I want to see people be as happy with themselves as I am. I've always loved myself. I've always, I just never liked how people viewed me. And you're not supposed to care what people see, but I didn't like what they saw either. I didn't like that I was overweight. I didn't like that I had no self-discipline. I didn't like any of that. And the problem is I felt like everything they were saying was true because I agreed. I didn't like how I looked. I didn't like how I felt. I wanted control of my life. And it was kind of like her love for me gave me enough motivation to do it, to move forward. And in the process of losing her, I got rid of my crutch. I haven't smoked weed in almost a month. And to me, it feels great. I don't have my medicine no more. And I haven't had panic attacks for not having it. I haven't, I maybe had one or two frustration issues. And when I saw it happen, I grabbed myself and pulled myself back. I probably said one or two things I shouldn't have. But the moment someone said, "Hey, what are you doing?" I looked and I said, "Oh shit," and I backed away. Somewhere in that process, like I said, I've started learning self-control and I've started to catch myself. I feel like in a month and a half, having 2 small little episodes over probably the 30-something problems I've had, I feel like I've actually, I'm doing better. It's just like this is my 3rd video I've recorded in the last 2 weeks. And to see myself go from one video that took me 6 months to release to 3 videos that took me less than a week to release, I feel like it's a big accomplishment. And I feel like if I have the strength to do it and I can move forward, I'm not saying people need to go the same route that I did or whatnot, but everybody has to find their way. I just want to give options. And me telling my stories, I feel like it's a little bit of therapy. And sometimes people need to hear my story to go, well, if he can do it, maybe I can. Some people are just as lost as I was. And if I had more people telling me stories or whatnot, I feel like I could have done better sooner. But this video is getting a little long. This is part 2. I don't know what part 3 will be, but I'm pretty sure I have enough stories in my 35 years. Not all of them are going to be bad. I've got a lot of lovely, great stories, but sometimes the bad stories come first so that you can enjoy the good ones. But I want to tell everybody that I love you. Everybody that watches my videos, everybody that hits like, everybody that subscribes, everybody that shares. Y'all all are what I do this for. Y'all are why, I love everybody. I want to see everybody great. I want to see everybody happy and healthy. I love everybody. I want to see everybody love themselves as much as I love myself. I know a lot of broken people. Not everybody has the same problems that I have. Some are better, some are worse. Nobody can compare themselves to others. I'm not trying to compare myself. I'm just here to tell you my story. If you have questions, if you know, whatnot, just put it in the comments. I'll reply. If you want to hear something about a certain topic, tell me. I'll work on it. Have a great day. See ya.